Assalamu alaikum, my name is Salim Siddiqui, and thanks for watching this series on the hotconflict.com website. And we're talking about Eid, the great celebration. Well, as you know, Eid, the great celebration, or Eid al-Akbar, or Eid al-Adha, the Eid of sacrifice, is the celebration that Muslims all over the world are doing right now as I'm telling you this story, where Muslims like myself have gathered with our families and we've gone together, even in our own cities here in the United States in Houston. All of the community went and gathered to go pray, bowing their head to the Lord Most High, celebrating the praises of the Lord Allah. And we said that the word Allah means the God. It's a term that is often misunderstood in the West, but we're trying to dispel some of the myths and misunderstandings in this story. And so we said that Eid is a celebration where all the Muslims are praying to the Lord Most High, facing towards the Kaaba, the holy house in Mecca that is built by Abraham and Ishmael, the great founders of monotheism. And so there in Mecca at the same time, millions of Muslims from around the earth are gathered together to perform the Hajj, which everybody on the whole world has heard about, of course. And there they are going around the holy house of the Lord. And we're discussing the importance of that great day. And we're telling you a story in a way that you've never heard it before, in a language that it is the first time it is being revealed to you on this auspicious occasion. Like I said, this is the first time this story has ever been told, and this is the first time any Western audience is being revealed the true story of the truth of the light. And so if you've been listening to this tale called The Truth of the Light that I am telling you, it began with certain fundamentals, and so we want to go jump back right into where we left off if you're excited about where we were, because I know where we were. Let's go back to the simple fundamentals, and the first fundamental that we said in our story from the very beginning was that La ilaha illallah. There's only one God. We said that the Lord Most High is the one that is greater than all things. He is the one that made the universe and everything in it. And hallowed and majestic is that. And once you begin to understand the light of this story, you will understand how the Lord Most High is even greater than anything you thought. But we said that the Lord created angels made of light, some with wings of different numbers, and they are made of the light, and they have no free will, and so they obey the commandments of their Lord, and they do not disobey. But the Lord also made other races known as the Jinn, which in Arabic means smokeless fire. And they have different natures, some with wings and some of different kinds. And that Satan or Lucifer was one of the other races prior to man. But we know, if you don't understand in the story, that when God created Adam and breathed the life of the soul into Adam, and Adam was taught the names of all things, that there was a challenge made and a war began. And the human race was now at war with the other races. And Adam, obviously, as we are telling you this tale, tried to teach this to his children, but the story has continued to get lost until today. For the first time in the English language, this story is being told to you. But we said in the fundamentals of the story was that Adam was taught the fundamentals, and that he would have offspring of the children of Adam, and that other prophets would come bearing the word of the truth of the story of the light. And we said that when we're talking about the light, that all people who have the truth, we refer to that as the light, and that the reason why we refer to that is because all of us are worshiping the one true Lord that no graven image can describe, or no symbol represents, or no icon should ever depict. He is the Lord Most High, high and greater than anything our minds can imagine. And we know that true believers in the Lord Most High have always described the Lord as what? Light, nur. And so all believers of the light, whenever they explain the story, tell you what it truly means to submit to the Lord Most High. And in Arabic, the word to submit means Islam, to submit to that way, and a person who does that is a Muslim. And so sometimes these terms get confused, and as we said, we're telling the truth of the story of the light. And so we're not referring to any political group or even my own nation who calls themselves Muslim, as the truth of the story has never been revealed in the English language until today. And all of this will be proved by the will of God. And so, yes, I said my name is Salim Siddiqui, and that we're telling you a story in a way you never heard of before. And because the story is so strange and the story is so weird, that every part of the story, if it is truly of the light of the truth, that every part must continue to explain some strange things and talk about strange issues, yet all somehow incredibly fit together so that every part of what I'm saying should never be misunderstood. Now, if you're misunderstanding part of it, please go back to the beginning of the story and listen to it again and see if you can try and put some pieces together. Because we said that we must remain upon this one fundamental. We're going to jump right back into our material, and so again I'm going to give the caveat that the material is strange, so if you don't know where we are in this story, don't just watch this video for the first time, because this will sound insane. This will sound insane. Go back and listen to the story from the beginning. But we said that the human race, from the very beginning of the story of Adam, we know that this is a war between the light and the dark. And that Satan, who used to be an enlightened one, became arrogant. And became the leader of the darkness. And that Satan, as Adam's first lesson made us know, was that he would deceive you by telling you lies about the truth of God. And so, as all of us know the story in our histories, as all of us are sons of Adam, I'm not revealing to you any secret knowledge. Like I said, this story isn't some whistleblowing tale of some secret knowledge. I'm just giving you the truth for the first time in the English language. So it must answer all of the secrets that people have been wondering about. All of the Western technology must be shown to be understood in the story. There could be no difference in all of the great sciences that we have and the truth of the story that I'm telling. If there were, then it couldn't be the truth. I keep making incredible and bold claims because I know that I'm telling you the word of God. And by Allah, Bismillah, I'm saying by his name that he is only allowing me to speak that which is correct. And someone who understands the truth knows exactly what they're saying. And as a caveat, I must say that by telling you this story, I am in no way suggesting, as if you can go back from the beginning and hear, that there is anything great about me. I am just a son of Adam. I'm just a son of Adam. But in that there is a sign. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Where we last left off was a very strange place. We had just gotten to the point in the story that we said, if you're following the fundamentals, that you know that there is only one God. And that God, in the final fundamental, is the planner and maintainer and qadir and knower and seer of everything. Nothing happens in the universe that is beyond the will of God. God is greater and higher than all of this. God is greater than higher than any force in the universe. And so is the Word of God. Now understand this, maintain the focus, because this is a battle between light versus darkness. And everybody has been wanting to keep listening to this series because I promised to tell you the truth of all the mysteries. And so we're at a point where we're talking about darkness. We're talking about the Jinn. We have been saying that it is necessary to explain some of the basic parts of the Jinn, that the final messenger comes with a method and a statement that clarifies once and for all the testimony of the fundamental that there is only one God. And because he is the final messenger, the testimony must change and say who the final messenger is, so that all of mankind never forgets the story. And so now we have La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Unlike any other commandment or fundamental of any prophet prior to this, all of their communities knew to follow the prophet who just received the word of the light. And as we say, anybody who calls themselves Muslim, a follower of the light, refers to any of the prophet in our story and all those we didn't mention, and there are many, and the scholars know them, and we can tell you there are thousands. We refer to all of them by saying, peace and blessings of the Lord Most High be upon all of them, including Jesus, son of Mary, who is a son of Adam, breathed the life of the Lord as a miracle, but is not God, and that God is always only one, and that the dark side has always been there to tempt and corrupt people into the darkness of misdirection of the truth of the light. The truth of the light is one. One, one, one. There's only one God. So now we get to this point where we're talking about Eastern mysticism, and we said in this tale, if I'm telling it to you, it must explain all the strange tales of the East and all the knowledge of the West. It can't just be something that addresses one or two things. And as a caveat, I must say again, of course, I am not telling you all of the knowledge. Already you know, as I know, that this story has already gotten long and we are not done yet. But there is so much more to listen to that it is worth carrying on. The Jinns are made of smokeless fire. Of this, many nations in the past have had interaction, and of the alien races, and we will continue to call them alien races, they are from another dimension, one that we cannot visibly see, unless they make themselves apparent. They are able to move rapidly in and out of water. They are able to do many things. Now, if you didn't understand the importance of able to move in and out of water rapidly, go back and listen to the story of Solomon, because the indicator was there. Now, we continue to synonymously use Eastern and Western terms. In the East, we refer to them as Jinn, or creatures of smokeless fire, unseen, from the unseen world. The tales from the dark side, a parallel dimension, the twilight zone. All these references have been there. And of the Jinn there are many kind, and of them references have been there all across humanity too. And so let's quickly talk about some of them. We've said that Jinn are of different types: grays, greens, usually referred to as small looking demons, some reptilian. They have the ability to morph, some into animals, usually dogs or dark wolves, common amongst many tales. Muslims have known of this fact of the other alien races, or jinns, for 1500 years. Now, many people in the occult sciences have tried to learn things or become mediums. Now, we have to understand that since we're talking about the truth of the light, we're saying in our story we must remain focused on the fundamental, that we're trying to seek the truth of the light. And the light is that of the one true God, and the God that we're telling you of in this story has consistently remained upon these basic fundamentals. And so all the chains of prophets have come with the simple same rules, and the final Prophet Muhammad came with the exact same rules we maintained from the beginning of the story. But the Prophet Muhammad came with something else that we said that was different from all the other prophets. Not only was he the messenger to all of mankind, showing a sign of the splitting of the moon for all of the earth, but that also that the splitting of the moon was a sign to the jinns, or the aliens. Now, as I said, that every part of my story must remain true and verifiable, yet get always so much more strange. Now, we said in the past, many of the ancient societies have learned to use powers of the jinns or the alien races. They've called it magic, they've called it occult practices, and they've done heathen and pagan rituals to use their power. Now, we know that there have been cases where benevolent, believing other races have come to the earth. And if you want to hear an example, go back and listen to the story of Moses. And we know from modern day scholars of UFOs and interactions with both the Jinn and what they call in the West UFOs, UFOs, unidentified flying things of light or weirdness, or creatures that have the ability to come in and out and have powers of strangeness. We call them unidentified. Well, in Arabic, we know what these are, and we've been trying to communicate this, but never has the knowledge of the East come clearly to the West until today that you are hearing this story. And so if you begin to understand that, then you can start to decipher some of the misunderstandings in all of the whistleblowers and all of the... there are many spin doctors out there who have great theories about all the different things and how the different societies were able to conduct things, such as the pyramids and other places where we find the Mayans and different things where they had knowledge of the stars and time that they had learned from some of the other races. And even today, our modern scientists can't figure out how pyramids and some of their ancient societies were able to have this great technology, but the Muslims have been trying to explain this to you. But as we are told, if the truth of the story of the light is ever told, then everyone must be in the biggest deception and misguidance against them. And that's how come you're told that Islam is the enemy of the world. And I said, since we're not talking about politics or any of the issues that are going on today on the planet, that I'm not condoning anything that's going on politically in the world, and I have no doubt made the caveat that Muslims have done a terrible job representing the light. But we have to continue to maintain the story. And so, because just quickly, I don't want to spend the whole time period talking about the Jinns, because if we do, then we perhaps fall into the trap that people have fell into for generations and thinking that they have powers or technology that is great. Now, here is a warning to the layman who tries to go to a medium or a fortune teller or use some methodology to communicate with the other side, or the greatest of superpowers in the world who try to use alien technology because they think it will be of their benefit, that the Lord Most High has told us that what? Remember the beginning of the story. The Lord Most High told us that we were already the superior race without any benefit from them. If we followed what the Lord Most High had told us, which was the Word, and so each prophet of the Lord came with the Word, and we said the final prophet must come with a specific word, and that is the Quran. Now, if you talk to scholars of the Arabic language and they say the Quran, the book, they will tell you, no, the Quran is not a book. The Quran is the Word. And why is it the Word? It's because it's the Word of God. And once you understand the power of that, then you understand that that Word is more powerful than any alien technology. So as people sometimes get deceived into using occult practices thinking that that is alien technology that is great, then they do get deceived. But because we want to give you quick information to prove that the story is true so that you can verify from your own modern day sources and then also the ancients, that we'll give you some basic facts. The moon, for example. We said that the sign of the prophet was that he parted the moon in half. Right? And that was a sign for all of the earth. But we said as a strange fundamental that that was a sign also for the aliens or the Jinns. Well, it might sound strange when we hear it, but I told you every meaning in the story has always a more great meaning. Because if you've understood the fundamentals, if it is Allah who sends each prophet, and it is the Lord Most High who gives the word, and we already know in this, the final fundamental that the Lord told us, I'm the one who plans everything. Don't forget, I'm the Lord. I created all of the universe. Then the Lord Most High must also make the sign of the moon splitting for the aliens be even more important. Well, I say aliens or Jinns. Well, we say the Jinns, especially the evil of them, are using the power of what? Well, we said this war is always about light versus darkness, and that we are telling you the story of the truth, and it is about the light, and that each prophet was bringing the story of the light, and the light is the light of the Lord Most High. And so if Satan, who fell from the light and became the most dark that we know, is the power of darkness, then we know that there is something related to darkness and the control of evil. And so from the knowledge that Muslims have had is that darkness also relates to gravity and gravitation. And so during the full moon nights, what is it that Muslims do? Now we know, if you've been listening to the story, that the true believers in the light do something to protect themselves, and that is called fasting. It was done by Moses, and it was done by all the believing people. As we know, Christians have various forms of fasting. They've forgotten that it should be for 30 days at a specific time, as it was done by the children of Israel and Moses, and as it was taught by Jesus to some of the disciples, and this knowledge has been lost, but it is now here with the Muslims. We know that the Prophet also told us to fast during the full moon nights, and the reason why that is because it is during the full moon nights that the powers of darkness of the other races are stronger, and when a believer bearing the light fasts, it protects us from their powers. Now, if you're a modern day ufologist, you must understand that the alien races get their power from gravitation and darkness, and that when the moon is the fullest on the earth, the gravitational forces change. I'm not a scientist, I don't know anything about astronomy in the world, so that's just something for you to reference on your own. If it's making sense to you in the story, it should be clear, but like I said, I don't know all this stuff. I'm just telling you the word of what we know. And I'm saying that all of this information is what we know from the Word of God and what the final prophet told us. I'm not part of any government conspiracy or a government entity. I'm just communicating to you for the first time in the English language the story of the truth. So if you understand the importance of the moon and how that relates to gravitation, then that starts to explain a lot of the understanding of how their craft work with different forms of gravitation, because they themselves are based on a different form of gravitation in their essence of the smokeless fire. And that also starts to easily explain many of the misunderstandings in modern day people between UFOs, unidentified flying objects in the air, and how many people are now talking about unidentifying submerged objects, because we've said, even back from the story of Solomon, that the jinns or aliens or whatever you want to call them are able to move easily between both, because the powers of gravitational forces don't have an effect on the water, and beyond that I really don't know how to explain it at the moment. And so we must understand that we have to go back to some fundamentals, because here's where I have to give a warning. We said in the fundamentals that there is only one God, and that the Lord Most High will reveal to his prophets the truth. And so that people who want to seek the truth of not just the past, but the future or anything, should seek it from the Word. Now, it is at this point that I'm giving you warning, because so many people are so excited about the information about the jinns and the aliens and all this information, as many of even our highest elite in government are shocked at the tale that I'm telling. The warning is always there, and every person has given it, and so I must also give it. As even I have been wondering sometimes in the past, what is the power that they have, and I wonder what it is. But once you understand the light, then you realize that the power of the light has always been more powerful than any possible strength of Satan, the most demonic of demons, the most evil of the evil races. If we're truly talking about the light of the Lord Most High, you have to start to really put things in perspective. And so you have to see, the Lord Most High has indicated to you in this story that you are going to get a final messenger, and by that the word should be made clear, and that word should be preserved. So now, just quickly to dispel modern understanding of prophecy. Many modern day people come and say, oh, they're a new prophet, they're a new prophet. What do we know? If we're telling you the story of truth, then we're saying that Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, was the final prophet, and the Quran is always going to be preserved, the very word of the light, in a language that is the best that mankind had been able to speak of the word in expression, that will continue to last because of the plan of the Lord for all time, and be able to be learned by anybody who seeks the truth. That the miracle of that Quran must be greater than you thought. Well, I can't get there, but you must understand what it means when we say the word is that miraculous. But first, we were talking about false prophets. So if we're saying that the messenger is the final prophet, then we know that any person coming after that is not a bearer of the light. as I am not coming to give you any new knowledge. I have no information revealed to me by the Lord. Everything that I'm telling you is from the Word. And anyone can go search every single word that I'm speaking. I'm not whistleblowing anything. I don't have a single secret document taken from any secret group. I'm just telling you the obvious story for the first time in the English language. So false prophets, many modern day people, and you watch it on TV, and especially in a Western audience, they look to people like Nostradamus or Edgar Cayce or Haley, or even modern day gurus or philosophers of ufologists or exopolitics, or, you know, the people on Coast to Coast. And I don't say that I have any ill will against any of them. They are all sons of Adam who in some way try to figure out what's really going on. I mean, what the frack is going on? Take any of these ones who we call the ufologists, I respect all of them, because each one of them in their own way is looking at the world and pondering the question and saying, what is the true story? There is something weird going on, and I am being deceived. And isn't that the way that a person gains the light? As every prophet that we described in our story from the beginning to the end is always saying, I wonder how the light is understood. And only when you're truly looking for it do you start to see the picture. But you have to remember the fundamentals. So all the people who have come after the Prophet Muhammad, all the false prophets, have been using some form of medium, and all of them were different. Some of them might have been benevolent. Edgar Cayce, for example, seems to have been given a gift of one of the malevolent aliens or jinns to heal many things. But as always we've told you, lies will be mixed with the truth. So you can't rely on any of the false modern day prophets. Do they have a little piece of the knowledge or a whisper of it from the other side? Do they hear some kind of word that something's coming? I see something bad. Hister? What is that? All of the false prophets always gave answers that were cryptic and not clear, perhaps telling you a little piece of the story. But a person who ever claims that they are giving you the truth of the light must tell you in a way that it answers everything. So I hope you're beginning to understand why it is that we're telling this story. So don't fall for any of the evil magic or witchcraft or spiritualism or mystics or astral projection or lucid this or that, or some of the false concepts of reincarnation and magic and Satanism and numerology and all these other powers. The truth of the light has always come one way and one way only, from the beginning of time till the end of the time. It was what the Lord Most High did with our great superior race, which was the Lord taught Adam the names of all things. And Adam taught his sons the word. And every prophet or bearer of the truth speaks the word. So don't get misguided trying to learn of the Jinn and the evil side as if they have something special. They have nothing that is more powerful than the Lord. Always remember the fundamentals. La ilaha illallah. There is only one God. I have a few more things to tell you. But before I get into the next section, I want to give a caveat. I know that the story has gotten long, and the next section might seem inappropriate, and I'm going to have to start talking about some things that are slightly personal and relate to my own family, and the reason will be made known, and the burden is terrible on my part that I have to talk about some of my own personal flaws. But if the truth must be told, then the person who tells it must always bear witness to this. I am only a son of Adam. There is nothing great about me. Listen to the truth of the story, because this is the story you've never heard before on the earth in this language. Let me take a break.